Hey guys, Bike here, and I'm back again with another Last Epoch video. This one is going to be my top 5 Sentinel builds for Season 2. So these are the ones that I want to play. I want to be very clear. These are not going to be the ones that I think are going to be busted, that are going to be OP, they're going to be broken. They might be, but these are the ones that I want to play. So these are all builds that I have personally played myself and I have released build guides on. So it's a little late in this season, in this cycle, but nonetheless, every build I cover, I have done a build guide for before. So if you find one that you're interested in, link in the description. So like I said, this is going to be my top 5. These are builds that I am looking forward to playing, starting with honorable mention, because I didn't want to do a top 6 and there was 6 builds that I wanted to check out. So I was like, well, which one's going to get the short list? And number 6 honorable mention is Void Cleave Erasing Strike. You see, Void Cleave Erasing Strike is a build that I always visit every single season, every single cycle. I know though, I should have said every single cycle, and then it's going to be every future season, right? It's just one of those builds, one of those comfort builds you can put together without a lot of, how do you say this? Without a lot of gear. It scales pretty well with gear. I don't think it's the greatest build of all time. I do think that it has its limits, but it can be pretty fun, and I'm looking forward to seeing what it looks like in Season 2 with all the changes, you know, with the volatile reversal changes. And yeah. Honorable mention, Void Cleave Erasing Strike for the Void Knight. Yeah. All right, so number 5 is going to be Machine Gun Smite. So this is a build I've actually done twice in cycle 1.17. It's the refresh, since I've done in the refresh. It's a very new build to me. I'm very interested to see how it looks in Season 2. This is one build that I pushed all the way past 1,000 corruption to Circle of Fortune, and I even looped back and replayed it again in Merchant's Guild, trying to see how viable it was to find gear for it, you know? And it actually worked out pretty freaking well in Merchant's Guild. I gave it a week. I already had a level 98 whatever paladin, and so I already had gear. I was already level 12. I was able to buy some stuff and get it up off the ground. The biggest thing that it uses were these idols. The Trinity of Flames idol was the main one that I used, and the Throne of Ambition. So using those two idols, I was able to get guaranteed crits, and then I just focused on defenses. So it wasn't the highest damaging build, but it was pretty effective. When I revisited it in cycle, the build wasn't as good as my Circle of Fortune one, but it worked out pretty well. It worked out pretty well. Over 500 corruption. So yeah, I like that one. So number 4, is gonna have to be Rive. Rive Void Knight. I'm very looking forward to the changes to Rive. It's going to be able to scale with void damage. So it hasn't done that before. If you didn't know that, Rive scales with physical, but there is a node that you can take that allows you to do 10% more void damage on top of it, but you're not scaling Rive. You're just like doing void damage and you're doing 10% more damage of it. And so I think this is going to be pretty nuts in Season 2. Sure, we're not going to have volatile reversal anymore, but by scaling Rive with void damage, and they're increasing the damage of everything, I think this is going to be pretty nutty. I think this will be pretty nutty, especially when it is fully geared out. So I say Rive because I did 2 builds in cycle 1.1 for Rive. I did Swordcatcher Rive and I did Blackblade Rive. And then there is well, let's just say OG for now. I don't know where it truly came from. But then there's the build that kind of took cycle 1.1 by storm. That was the max roll guide for Rive, and they used Apathy's Maw. It was good. It was very fine. I personally didn't care for it myself. I thought it was very good. I just like different applications of it. personally. And I think whatever build you go for with Rive, if you're doing void damage, I think it's going to be nuts. I think it will be nuts. Like, I'm very excited for this. You know, who cares if you don't have volatile reversal? You're going to just have a sheer amount of void damage no matter which way you apply it. So that is number 4. Number 3, I am slightly I am like in the moment slightly like rethinking, like, wait, do I really want that? But no. Number 3 is going to be Voidstorm Hammes. There's no node in the game called Voidstorm. It's just somebody in my chat. I was doing Voidstorm in cycle 1, and I was trying to make Void Dot Hammers work. And if you guys remember cycle 1, Void Dot Hammers, they were okay, but they definitely got a lot better in cycle 1.1. Nonetheless, somebody was like, I can't see anything through the Voidstorm because there was just hammers everywhere with the auras, and you had that black lightning raining from the sky via Smite. And I'm like, that's the name of the build. It's Voidstorm. So I'm looking forward to this one because they said Time Rot is getting a buff. And first thing I thought of is Voidstorm. If you guys didn't know, in cycle 1.1, I pushed Voidstorm to 900 corruption. I will say it wasn't the greatest bossing build of all time, but the leech on this build was insane. Like, I like, you can die, but most of the time that comes from a one shot, not you getting worn down. Like, seriously. Eventually, if you could stack enough health, I could see you not dying with this build. The leech is so fast. You will take damage and go roop, roop. Yeah, I think this build will be insane. Depends on what other changes they make with it. I don't know how insane it will be, because even with volatile reversal, the damage was kind of low. So it's going to depend on how much they've boosted Time Rot, because that was kind of the main element. If you didn't know, with this particular build, you use Time Rot, and Time Rot you can only max out at 12 stacks. I also threw in Doom to just try and add another void element. That maxes out at 4 stacks. I threw on Future Strike, which it's not very easy to be able to stack Future Strike, so I can only at most ever get like 50 stacks of Future Strike. That's also another damage over time. I think it was those 3 main things. And the thing is, you don't get a lot of void pin with a lot of that. I tried to cram whatever void pin I could. Like I said, the build, I was able to push to 900 corruption, but I think that's more due to the durability. So I'm looking forward to seeing if the damage is absolutely cracked. Who knows? Moving on to number 2. And this one is going to be Electrify Javelin. Yes, the Tyranni's build. Shout out to Snowwiz. Man, I don't know if I would have done this. But when I saw him shredding Aberoth, I'm like, dude, I got to try this out. And yeah, this build was nuts. I actually killed Aberoth without using Volatile Reversal, just to gauge how insane the damage was. When you used Volatile Reversal, oh yeah, well, it's not like that. It's not like, full health bar to 0 in 3 seconds. It's like, you got to put in the work, but it shredded, and I'm just looking forward to it because Judd confirmed that Electrify was getting a buff as well as just all Sentinel skills, the damage going up. They've confirmed multiple times. It's put me at ease. I don't know if they were hearing my my rants about hopefully they give damage to all the Sentinel abilities now that they're removing Volatile Reversal. Well, not removing, reworking. And it sounds like they are. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think this build will be very strong, and it was easy to get up off the ground with not a lot of gear, but this one would be very interesting to see. Obviously, I did it in Legacy Circle of Fortune, so I already had just an entire stash full of stuff. So it'd be interesting to try this one. It won't be my leveling build. Won't be my first build, because the first build is our #1 spot, and that is Bleed Hammers. Yep, this build I've played a number of times. I played it in Cycle 1.1, and I was floored by how strong it was. And then I played it again in the Cycle 1.1 refresh in Merchant's Guild, and I was able to get going pretty freaking quick. And this has just always been a build I've come back to, right? I pushed it to 700 corruption in my build guide. I actually came back and played this build again for like a solid week, just because I was farming favor and doing some other stuff, farming some gear, and I pushed it over 1,000 corruption. And then this just became the build that I would come back and play whenever I was getting ready to play another one, you know? Oh, I'm going to need some favor for the next character. I'm going to need some gear. And I would just come back and play Bleed Hammers. I have one character. That's all he is. He's just got the Bleed Hammers build right there. And I just come back and I play it. You know, it was so strong. It was so powerful. You're just zipping right through monos. It's very fast. It's very fast. You summon a whole bunch of hammers and you just start running like your life depends on it. Those hammers hit enemies along the way and they die. Against bosses, the build was really strong, but that's also because it used a lot of volatile reversal. So I'm going to be very interested to see how well this build does in Cycle 2, in Season 2. Because they said they're going to be buffing the damage of everything. I think it'll still be a great farmer. It's going to be really depend on the bossing potential. I think it'll still be very good. I think it will still be very good. It really, like, volatile reversal really made this build against bosses just like absolutely be on crack. Like, I farmed so much with this build that I knew this had to be my season starter. Bleed Hammers. Well, obviously the build I'm going to be leveling with is Ignite Hammers. So I guess second honorable mention. There will be no gameplay for that. All right, guys, this has been my top 5, you know, quote unquote top 6, but I'm really looking forward to these builds in Season 2. Really looking forward to it. Season 2 is going to be a blast. We're on our way to 1,000 subscribers. So thank you so much, everybody, for putting your trust in me, coming back to me for just my knowledge on the game and all that. Or if you're just here to just laugh at me, hey, man, you know what? I can be a clown too. Thank you so much for being here, guys. If you like what I do, like, possibly subscribe, and hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace out.